You have been lied to, not by a person, by an assumption everyone around you shares. The assumption is simple: move more, burn more fat. It feels like obvious logic. You believed the gym was the answer, so you showed up. You stayed consistent. You took the stairs instead of the elevator. You walked when you could have sat. You sweated through workouts that left you exhausted. You felt proud of that exhaustion. You cleaned up your meals. Less junk, more vegetables, smaller portions every single day. Weeks passed. You noticed small changes. Your face looked a little leaner than before. Your clothes felt slightly looser around your arms and chest. Progress felt real. But then you looked down. Your stomach was still there, familiar, unchanged, waiting. That moment breaks something inside you, because your effort was genuine. Your discipline was real. You were not cutting corners. You were not making excuses. You were actually trying hard. Yet the result did not match the work. The belly stayed. The frustration grew. So your mind searched for explanations. Maybe your metabolism had slowed down with age. Maybe your genetics simply decided your body shape before you ever had a choice. Maybe you lacked the willpower to push hard enough for long enough to win. You started believing the problem lived inside you, a flaw, a personal failure, a limit. But what if none of that is true? What if the problem was never your effort? What if your body is not refusing to burn belly fat, but simply has not received permission? This single shift in understanding changes everything. Permission, not punishment, not pressure, permission. Inside your body right now, a decision is being made about whether fat gets released.
That decision does not care how motivated you feel standing in front of the mirror. It does not track your workout hours or count the meals you skipped this week. It does not respond to frustration or tears or the number of times you tried before. It responds to one thing only: the fuel conditions present inside your bloodstream right now. Your body operates on one rule above all others. The brain must never lose its supply. Your brain cannot store energy. It depends entirely on a constant, steady stream of fuel. If that stream drops too low, you lose focus, then coordination, then consciousness completely. If it rises too high for too long, your tissues are slowly and silently damaged. So your body maintains a narrow, carefully controlled range of energy every minute you exist. Keeping that range stable is not optional, it is survival. Everything else comes second to it. And here's what most people never learn. Fat burning only begins after that stability is confirmed. Your muscles do not decide when fat is released. Your willpower does not unlock those reserves. Before any fat cell opens and releases stored energy, an approval must come from somewhere specific. There is an organ inside your body that monitors your fuel supply every single second. It works while you sleep. It works while you eat. It never stops working for you. Most people think of this organ as a digestive helper, something that processes food and alcohol. But its real job is far more powerful than digestion. It is your internal fuel manager. This organ is your liver, and it is the true gatekeeper standing between you and belly fat. The liver does not appear in fitness conversations. Nobody talks about it in weight loss videos.
But without understanding what the liver does, you will never understand why your belly stays. When you eat carbohydrates, your liver takes some of that glucose and stores it as glycogen. When you have not eaten for a while, it releases stored glucose so your brain continues. When food becomes scarce, it converts fat into ketones so the brain can still function normally. It performs hundreds of tasks simultaneously, but its highest priority will always remain fuel stability. Here is the critical truth that changes how you see your entire weight loss journey forever. Your body will not begin significant fat burning unless the liver believes it can maintain stability. Fat burning is not the body's first choice. It is the emergency backup the body reluctantly uses. The liver's rule is always the same: stability first, appearance second, fat burning only when safe. If blood glucose appears unpredictable or unreliable, the liver holds onto stored fat tightly. It keeps managing the fuel situation using faster, easier sources it already has available immediately. Releasing fat too early could cause energy swings the brain simply cannot safely tolerate or survive. Think of it like a city power grid during uncertain weather. The city manager is cautious. She will not switch to backup generators while the main electricity supply is still unstable. She waits, she monitors, she switches only when she is confident the system will remain steady. Your liver behaves exactly the same way. Cautious, logical, focused only on keeping you alive. You may exercise hard and burn significant energy in your muscles during that workout session, but if your liver still detects unstable glucose patterns circulating in your blood, it stays alert. It keeps circulating fuel available. It prevents fat from being pulled out of its stored location. As long as quick fuel is still needed, fat remains exactly where it has always been stored. Your body does not burn fat because you want it to. It burns fat when the liver agrees. Now look at your typical day. Not the workout, the whole day, from the moment you wake. You stayed up late the night before. Artificial light kept your brain believing it was daytime. Sleep became shorter, maybe fragmented. You woke up already behind on the recovery your body needed. Your brain responded by raising cortisol levels earlier than it should have that morning. Cortisol signals the liver to release glucose immediately, so you have energy even before breakfast arrives. Fuel is already flooding your bloodstream before you have eaten a single bite of food. You skip breakfast or just drink coffee. Caffeine reinforces alertness and triggers additional fuel release. Then food arrives and the bloodstream receives incoming glucose from your meal on top of everything already there. Insulin rises sharply to control the surge. Energy is stored. Then levels begin to drop again. A few hours pass. You snack. Then a sweetened coffee. Then lunch. Then an afternoon snack. Then dinner. Then something small while watching television because the evening just feels incomplete without it. From your liver's perspective, fuel has been arriving and fluctuating every single hour of the day. The liver now has a completely different job than fat burning. Its job becomes damage control. It releases small glucose amounts to prevent drops, then insulin stores excess energy to prevent spikes. This constant traffic never allows a stable baseline to form. The rhythm never settles into predictability.
And here is the rule of your metabolism that nobody ever explains to you clearly enough. As long as glucose is circulating and insulin is active in your blood, fat burning is suppressed. Fat release from fat cells, the process called lipolysis, only occurs under one specific condition. Insulin must be low. The liver must no longer be actively managing a flood of incoming fuel. But frequent eating, late meals, disrupted sleep, and daily stress keep insulin appearing again and again. Your body reads this pattern as a consistently unstable fuel environment that requires constant management. Because of this reading, the liver does not allow deeper reserves to be accessed or released. It prefers to work with immediate fuel sources rather than open the protected storage it maintains. The abdominal area holds easily convertible energy close to the liver for exactly this emergency purpose. That fought near your stomach is not random. It is positioned strategically, deliberately, for rapid use. It remains stored because it is part of the emergency system, the backup the liver depends on. Even more, when the liver receives more fuel than it can manage efficiently, something worse happens. It begins storing excess energy internally, inside the liver itself, and gradually becomes less responsive. The body shifts further toward storage mode rather than release mode. The gate closes even tighter. This is the true explanation for why you can exercise regularly and still never reach your belly fat. Your muscles burn calories during movement. That part works exactly as you always believed it did. But the liver continues maintaining glucose availability after your workout ends. It replaces what you used. It replaces it with circulating fuel rather than unlocking the protected abdominal reserves sitting right there. Your effort was real. Your workout was real. But your fuel manager stayed in emergency control mode. You were burning today's fuel, not yesterday's stored fat, not the belly, just the immediate supply. Belly fat does not reflect your effort level. It reflects the traffic of fuel moving through your liver. You may recognize certain experiences in your daily life that never seemed related to fat loss before. After eating a meal with carbohydrates, you feel an unusual and heavy tiredness wash over you. Not just relaxed, not just satisfied, actually mentally slowed, foggy, like thinking through thick water. Your focus fades completely. You want to sit down or lie flat and close your eyes immediately. Within an hour or two, your energy rises again.
often it brings a strong craving for something sweet. In the afternoon, your concentration drops sharply without warning. You reread the same sentence multiple times. Coffee temporarily pulls you back, but within an hour, the fog returns exactly as heavy as before. Late at night, you sometimes wake up without any clear reason. You are not fully hungry, but you feel strangely alert. Your mind starts moving when it should be resting and recovering. Falling back asleep becomes a slow process. You lie awake waiting for tiredness to return to you. You crave sugar more powerfully than savory food. The pull towards sweetness feels almost biological, because it is. When you attempt a longer fast, hunger becomes intense and almost unbearable much earlier than expected. Your mood shifts, irritability creeps in, thoughts about food become loud and impossible to push away.
Despite reducing your calories consistently, your weight loss stalls. A plateau appears and refuses to move. You push harder, you eat less. The scale barely responds. Your belly remains exactly as before. Each of these experiences is not random. They are all speaking the same language, your liver's language. Fatigue after meals occurs because insulin must rapidly control the glucose flooding your bloodstream from food. Your brain temporarily reduces alertness while your body redistributes and processes all that incoming fuel efficiently. The afternoon crash arrives when glucose drops after being elevated too high earlier in the day. Night waking often happens because your liver releases glucose to prevent levels from falling dangerously during sleep. Cravings develop when your brain senses the fuel supply becoming unpredictable and demands immediate replenishment quickly. Difficulty fasting happens because your body never fully learned to switch smoothly to stored fat for energy. Instead, it still depends heavily and anxiously on incoming glucose to maintain its moment-to-moment stability. The plateau occurs because fat release remains restricted while your liver continues stabilizing your blood sugar constantly. Your body is not ignoring your effort. Your body is prioritizing something it considers more important than appearance. The belly remains because it is structurally connected to the system keeping your brain alive and safe. You thought the problem was discipline. The real situation was that your fuel manager never stopped working. It was protecting your brain every single hour, and protection does not coexist easily with fat release. So what keeps the liver locked in this constant high alert control mode day after day?
It is rarely one dramatic mistake. It is not a single bad meal or missed workout session. It is the quiet repetition of small signals that keep arriving before the previous ones have cleared. Eating late at night forces your liver to manage incoming glucose during the hours it expects rest. During those hours, it is supposed to perform repair work on your cells and internal systems. Instead, it is processing fuel again, managing traffic again, running the same emergency routine it ran all day. Snacking throughout the day prevents insulin from ever falling low enough for meaningful fat release to begin. Even small snacks, even healthy snacks, frequency matters more than content when it comes to insulin patterns. Drinking calories keeps fuel flowing without pause. Sweetened beverages, juices, flavored coffees, sports drinks, protein shakes. Each one arrives in your bloodstream as a signal. More fuel incoming. Stay in management mode. Prepare. Irregular meal timing adds another layer of confusion. Some days, long gaps appear between your meals. Other days, food arrives constantly from morning to night without a single true break in between. Your liver adapts to this inconsistency by staying permanently prepared for fluctuation it can never truly predict. Caffeine without adequate nutrition signals alertness and energy demand without providing stable and reliable fuel replacement. Your body is told to be awake and active, but the fuel system doesn't know what is coming. Poor sleep keeps cortisol elevated through the night. Cortisol continues prompting glucose release even without any food present. Your liver is releasing fuel into an empty stomach simply because your stress hormone told it to.
From the outside, every one of these behaviors looks harmless, normal even, part of modern everyday life. From your liver's perspective, they represent an unbroken stream of fuel signals with no silence between them. The liver never receives a true rest period, a real window of quiet, a pause in the traffic. Without that pause, it cannot change modes. The switch from glucose burning to fat burning never happens. Your body has a system built for exactly this switching. Scientists call it metabolic switching. It is elegant. When glucose is present, your body burns glucose. This is the default mode: easy, fast, reliable. When glucose falls steadily and predictably over time, your body begins shifting to fat-derived fuel sources. Ketones appear. Fat cells begin releasing stored energy. The liver coordinates the entire transition carefully and precisely. But the shift only occurs when the liver senses that glucose management is no longer an emergency task. If glucose remains unpredictable, appearing and disappearing at random intervals, the switch never fully completes itself. You might exercise with tremendous effort and burn significant energy during those 60 minutes of movement. But once the session ends, your liver replaces that energy using circulating glucose or freshly released fuel. It does not reach into the abdominal reserve. It uses what is already available and easier to access. No switch, no sustained fat burning, no access to the protected belly fat you have been targeting. The hidden trigger for fat release is not eating less. It is not exercising more. It is different entirely. It is the consistent presence of stable fuel intervals, windows of time where insulin is genuinely low.
Until your liver experiences those intervals reliably and repeatedly, it stays in management mode without exception. And while it manages, the gate to your belly fat remains closed. Not locked forever, just closed for now. The encouraging truth is this: your liver does not need to be forced. It needs to be reassured. It responds to signals. Change the signals and the liver changes its behavior, quickly, almost immediately. When you begin sleeping at roughly the same time each night, something important shifts inside your chemistry. Cortisol patterns stabilize. The liver stops releasing unnecessary glucose during the early morning hours while you sleep. Instead of preparing your body for emergency alertness all night long, it allows genuine cellular recovery to happen. Seeing natural morning light soon after waking strengthens this rhythm even further than sleep timing alone can. Your internal clock aligns with the natural cycle of day and night that your biology was built for. The body begins predicting activity and rest accurately. Predictability lowers emergency fuel release significantly over time. Eating meals at consistent times has a remarkable and underappreciated effect on your metabolic environment every day. When your liver knows that food arrives at regular and reliable intervals, it stops preparing for uncertainty. It no longer needs to keep glucose constantly circulating just in case a long gap suddenly appears. Insulin spikes become fewer. They become calmer. They fall lower between meals than they did before. And in those lower valleys between meals, something important begins to happen, quietly and without announcement. Fat cells receive a signal they have been waiting for. The lock begins to loosen, slightly at first. An earlier dinner creates one of the most powerful metabolic conditions available to you without any supplements. When your last meal ends earlier in the evening, the overnight window without incoming fuel grows longer. The liver experiences a sustained and uninterrupted interval of stable energy without any new fuel arriving. During this extended window, it gradually and confidently shifts from managing fresh intake to drawing on stored reserves. The abdominal fat that has been protected for emergency use begins to look less necessary to the liver. It releases it slowly, not dramatically, but steadily, night after night as the pattern becomes familiar and safe. A breakfast with adequate protein gives your morning a completely different metabolic character than carbohydrates alone provide. Blood sugar rises gently instead of sharply. Cortisol does not need to spike and compensate for instability. Your body begins the day in controlled fuel mode rather than the emergency mode it has grown used to. Gentle walking after meals serves a beautifully simple purpose. Your muscles absorb circulating glucose immediately after eating. The liver does not need to store it urgently or redistribute it frantically through your bloodstream anymore. Fuel traffic becomes smoother. The peaks and valleys flatten. The emergency signals appear less and less frequently. As these patterns repeat day after day, something profound begins to happen inside your metabolic environment quietly. Insulin remains lower between meals for longer periods than your body has experienced in years, perhaps. Glucose stabilizes into a predictable, gentle rhythm that your liver can finally read with confidence and trust. The liver recognizes this new environment. It adjusts its interpretation of what is normal and what is emergency. When it no longer expects constant fluctuation, It begins to relax its tight grip on stored reserves. Control mode softens. Release mode becomes possible. And in that shift, something changes that you can feel. Fat cells finally receive genuine permission to release stored energy, not briefly, not reluctantly, but steadily and fully. Lipolysis begins in a sustained and meaningful way, rather than the brief flickering attempts your body made before. The abdominal reserve is no longer required for rapid emergency conversion. It is no longer protecting your survival. Fat burning does not begin because you forced your body into submission through restriction and exhausting exercise. It begins because your fuel manager looked at the environment you created and finally stopped seeing an emergency. Think back now to the beginning of this, to the mirror, to the stomach that would not change. You believed the answer was more discipline, harder workouts, stricter diets, more suffering somehow equal to more results. Every time progress slowed, you assumed you had done something wrong, made a mistake, broken a rule. But your body was never ignoring you. It was never working against you. It was never your enemy. It was waiting, patiently, protectively, for the signals it needed to feel safe enough to release its reserves. The organ managing your fuel was doing exactly the job it was designed to do from the beginning. Its purpose was never appearance. Its purpose was never fitting into smaller clothes or looking good in photos. Its purpose was keeping you conscious and alive through every uncertain moment your ancestors ever faced before you.
As long as your internal environment felt unpredictable, it kept the deeper reserve protected, logically, faithfully, automatically. The belly was not chosen randomly as some cruel cosmetic punishment your body decided to give you. It was held because it is positioned perfectly to support your brain when fuel drops suddenly and severely. Your frustration came entirely from misunderstanding what your body was actually doing and why it was doing it. You were trying to burn fat while your body was simultaneously trying to prevent a fuel emergency. Those two goals were pulling in opposite directions, not because you were failing, because the signals were unclear. Once your internal signals become consistent and predictable, the meaning of that stored energy changes completely for your liver. The reserve is no longer necessary. The emergency is no longer anticipated. The gatekeeper no longer needs to hold on. Fat does not leave because you punished your body into releasing it through suffering and strict deprivation. It leaves because your body assessed the environment and concluded the protection was no longer required or justified. Your belly fat was never stubborn. It was never spiteful. It was never a reflection of your worth. It was locked by a system designed to keep you conscious and safe during genuinely uncertain conditions. When fuel becomes reliable, when sleep becomes consistent, when signals become clear, the lock responds accordingly and opens. And when it opens, your body releases what it had been carefully holding, not in resistance, but in relief. You did not fail your metabolism. You were never broken. You were never lazy. You were never hopeless. Your metabolism was protecting you faithfully, completely and without pause, until it finally felt safe enough to let go.